Cock-a-doodle-doo! Good afternoon from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today is Sunday. It is upper 50s. Might hit 60 degrees today. Mostly cloudy though, but the sun popped out a few times, so it might hit 60. Too warm for long sleeves at some point. Oh yeah. What do we got on today? Time to make the biscuits. Speaking of the cats, yeah, I might have to rename the cats after last night. They interrupted my sleep about 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, they did. And when I don't get enough sleep, that's just, usually it's not a good day. And today has been good for the most part. All right, let's talk about why I might have to rename the cats. Bob, what were you doing at 3 a.m., Bob? What were you doing at 3 a.m., Bob? You were running around with your partner in crime here, Grumpy. Grumpy, what were you doing at 3 a.m., Grumpy? Huh? Yeah, see, they're not talking. You guys aren't fessing up. At 3 a.m., I think they were reenacting the car chase scenes from the Dukes of Hazzard. See? See what I mean? They were doing that inside. Yes, you were. At 3 a.m., Bob. It's like you're like Bo Duke, and Grumpy over there is like Luke Duke. Yeah, so I had to kick them out. I did. They were, and I don't know, see, maybe it wasn't the Dukes of Hazzard, because I don't have a TV, and that show hasn't been on in years. So I don't know how they would have seen the Dukes of Hazzard, but they were sure trying to reenact the car chase scenes last night. Very loud, Bob. Very loud. And where's your, see, Fifi, yeah, Fifi was just little, you know, she was staying out of trouble. So do I got to rename her Daisy Duke? Yeah? Where is Daisy? Okay, here's Daisy Duke. Yeah, yeah. She stayed out of trouble. You did stay out of trouble. It was your rambunctious brothers that were, or cousins, or what are they on that show? I don't even remember. All right, so yeah, if today's video doesn't make any sense, we can blame Bo and Luke and Daisy Duke. No, I'm not really changing their names. Just a story to tell for today. I can't blame Bob and Grumpy though. They probably had a little bit of cabin fever. We've been having some rain and some cold overnight temps. And the other day, all they did was sleep all day long inside the cabin. So, yeah, I might have to start treating them like kids and try to wear them out in the afternoons so they sleep and sleep all night long. Does that work on cats? I bet it doesn't. Okay, now enough silliness. Now, baby chicks, baby chicks, baby chicks. Some good news and some bad news on that front. Let's do the bad news first. The sad news is that I did lose one of the 4 baby chicks that hatched last Sunday and Monday. I have no idea, just overnight, and came out in the morning, and it just didn't make it. All kinds of, I have no idea why. Just wasn't strong enough. But these 3 are doing well. They are not quite a week old. But they're going to have some company here pretty soon. So, yeah, that was a bummer losing one of the baby chicks. It's happened to me before. It will happen again. Sometimes they're just not strong enough to make it very long. Okay, now let's go find something more upbeat. Let's start off with a quick recap. In this big white incubator, there were 40 eggs. There were 25 eggs that were 3rd generation olive eggers, and there were 15 eggs that were 2nd generation olive eggers. After candling, there were only 5 of the 15 2nd generation olive eggers, and I moved those 5 eggs into this incubator. So the 25 eggs that were 3rd generation olive eggers, they went into this incubator. 24 of the eggs did. 24 of the 25 candled with something to show for, And so they went in there. These were, Friday was day 21. And now let's look at what results we have so far. First up, there were 5 eggs in here. And just within the past 2 hours, this little one has hatched. And this egg right there in front, you might be able to see it, that one has pipped. But just those 2, well, the one has hatched, the other one has pipped out of these 5 so far. And now, over here, there were 24 eggs in there. And at last count, I had 13 baby chicks. So they started, they were due to hatch on Friday, was day 21. And one of them hatched late Friday night, and there were 2 others that had pipped at that time. And I'll talk about that story here in a minute. But yes, 13, as best as I can count, 3rd generation olive eggers here at Bobblehead Homestead. And several other of those eggs had pipped. I might not have a final count until I can open the lid. I am happy with the results so far from those 25 3rd generation olive eggers. More than half, 13 of the 24 eggs that I kept until hatch day. And hopefully we'll see a few more hatch. I'm not going to count them until they do hatch though, but I'm very happy about that. Those are the 3rd generation olive eggers hatched here on the homestead. Their great grandmothers are Carol Burnett, Private Benjamin, and Mary Tyler Moore. Betty White's also in there, but I didn't hatch any of her eggs. So those are the great grandmothers. The grandmothers are Mrs. B and the 4 other 1st generation olive eggers I have. They are now grandmothers. And then the mothers are the 3 hens that are laying the darker olive eggs, some of them with speckles. So they are now mothers, biological mothers. So yeah, 3 generations, and I've got at least 2 more, at least 1 more generation to go until I can determine whether or not the ones that just hatch are purebred green egg layers. And that's a whole, I need to make a movie about how all that works. Daredevil Luke Duke up there. Are you getting ready to perform another stunt jump? There he goes. Too fast for me. But there was more excitement here today in addition to baby chicks and Dukes of Hazzard reenactment at 3 a.m. More excitement. I tried to get a before picture, so let's take a look at the before. And now I'm gonna show you the after. I don't know, I just got a quick before picture. I don't know how well you can see this after picture, but yeah, Bulldozer Man stopped by with his tractor, and this time he had his bucket on it. And we had talked about, anyway, let's go take a closer look down there. He drove through there with his tractor with the bucket on it and just started knocking stuff over, which is cool. This is Wild Barry and his flock out my front door. And then we got Larry over there. So I got 2 flocks over here. And that's our private lane. And so all in this area, well, you can see all that giant ragweed, 15 feet tall right there. That was all in this area too. And he just, 10 minutes or so with his tractor, just kind of pushed it all down and put it in a pile here. There's some logs and stuff. That might be a burn pile. And then cleared a bunch of area over in here. That's an electric pole. And my property line goes beyond that electric pole, I don't know, 10 feet. So that's not all my property over there. But yeah, he just cleared a path for me to move the chickens into this area. Which it gets soggy in here after a lot of rain. So I'll have to find good spots for the coops that won't be sitting in, giant puddles. But yeah, he just did what he could in a few minutes and just plowed this around, and now I can run the the chicken fencing. I'll run it along the lane there, and then past this tree, and then I'll run, probably go around that electric pole in here. But yeah, I can move both of those flocks into this area, and I'll just go from there. I might leave them here all summer this year, and there's enough area I can move them around, right, Bob? You've been out here exploring. Oh, and there's some of that styrofoam insulation stuff. And this area I picked up, well, I thought I had picked up most of the trash. But yeah, last winter, this was the focus of my trash picking up, was this area. And so look, I think I've got most of the trash out of this area. And of course, that old shed house thing was basically in that area right now, right there. Not exactly where the new shed is. It was a little bit back, closer to the water well, and then in this direction. And there's, you can see there, I've got giant boulders in this area. Yeah. Yeah. How am I gonna get a lawnmower over that? That ain't happening. But so this is cool. I will be moving the chickens over here very soon, as soon as I can figure out the layout, and hopefully get a little bit of help moving the coops. New perspective out here. I'm a little bit further down. But in addition to helping clear this area to move my chickens in here, you can see that tree is down. And that was one of the trees that was cut down last spring to make way for the cabin. And then there are a lot of other brush. Well, I don't know if you can see it through the brush in there, but there's a bunch of trees in there also. And Bob's in there. Bob's modeling off all this material. But he also cleared a path back here, well, good enough, so that I can get back here with a chainsaw and start cutting up some of these larger branches to put on the bottom of my raised beds. So that's been the plan all along, was to fill it most of the way with logs and stuff from this area that had already been cut down. There's a bunch behind this giant tree also. This is a big, beautiful, giant tree. So, yeah, now, once I am ready to start filling the raised beds, I can get back here, start cutting some of this up to put in there. And, yeah, that's the scoop here. You enjoying your new territory out here, Bob? With all this brush out of the way? Where those, there's kind of a path in between here. That's basically where my property line goes. Just a little bit past where the brush is still standing up. So, yeah, but this is a nice cleared patch for doing chickens. And before anybody says it, oh, Grumpy, hey Grumpy, he's out here exploring. I always get suggestions for goats. But I want to remind you that goats, not only are goats not free, goats are expensive, especially when you consider fencing and housing for them. And you can't just have one goat. The only people making money from goats have large herds of meat goats. And so, yeah, I understand the utility of having goats, but they are not cheap. They are not cheap to get started in goats. So I'll just do what I can do, and who knows? Maybe maybe one of these days I'll be running some pigs, which do just as good at clearing stuff like this as goats do. What do you think, Bob? Grumpy, what do you think? Should I leave you outside until I feed you tonight, so we don't get another Dukes of Hazzard rerun? I think that's what I'm going to do. It has been quite a busy day for me, and it didn't start. I didn't get enough sleep to begin with. I am not complaining. I am not complaining. So, and it's too late for a nap, man. It's just too late. You know, it's too late for a nap when the chickens have already gone to bed for the night. Oh, dudes. I'm not complaining, though. So, thank you for watching. Thanks for continuing to support me as I try to make something of this trashy, junky place. It is, you know, that area that we just, you know, ran over with a tractor today. That's where I spent most of last winter picking up trash, and just bag after bag after bag. And as I walked through there today, I didn't get it all. I got most of it, but I didn't get it all. There's still some stuff out there. I'll get to it as I come across it. Especially once I move the chickens over there. They're pretty good at uncovering everything that's within an inch of the top of the ground. So I keep every day I go, feed and water them, and there's always a piece of glass or a piece of broken plastic or something that I'm picking up. So anyway, my body is fried and whatever. I'm going to probably take another day off tomorrow. So, sorry. Thanks for watching. Thanks for everything. Take her easy, everybody. Bob just followed me in and went straight to bed. I left him outside all day, and I wasn't going to let him come in until it was dinner time. Bob, I know you're probably tired, aren't you? Well, I'm tired too. We can't be having these 3 a.m. car chase reenactments, Bob.